Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to team meeting number 46. On this episode, we'll be talking about. We'll have some questions from the faculty. We have some classes which are starting, which started last week and are starting this week. We have some current issues that we're going to be discussing, and there was a privacy issue that Dan brought to the front. But I think first we'll go over to Rob. What's new, Rob?
Well, let's see. We're doing a lot of work in terms of onboarding new people. Sujin's working on the teardown of the website, which we're going to talk about in the closed meeting. A rebuild with that. The biggest thing from my perspective that we're going to be sending out to faculty is the student review for faculty approval. So as you know, transparency is really huge with us, and we want to make sure faculty have their CV posted, a LinkedIn profile, using academia.edu if you've published papers or if you've just posted anything. But the other piece that's going to get placed on your profile once you're a faculty member at Oplerno is student reviews of your classes. And so we've developed a short 5 to 7 question survey, and this draft is going to go out to faculty so that you all can comment on it and make arguments as to if questions needed to be added or changed. It's designed to just reflect upon pedagogical techniques, how quickly you get back feedback to the students so that they can find the perfect match for you. This is, again, a first draft. We believe in giving faculty as much control over the governance of their classes and the reviews as possible. So I want to start that conversation now before we have to implement large numbers of student reviews and add those into the faculty profiles. So that letter is going to go out sometime in the next couple of days, and you can pretty much expect something in that letter that also connects to a Google Doc that you can comment on. So I'm really looking forward to getting faculty involved in that governance and that design model, because what I found out in the classes that in the design course for Oplerno faculty that I'm teaching along with Dan is that the faculty here are pretty incredible in terms of the resources and knowledge that they have to offer. So I'm really sure that we can come up with a really good faculty review that students are going to find useful, and that will also boost up the reputations of the faculty who are really doing a good job and being responsive to the students. So that's it for me.
Nice. Well, shall we get straight into the questions from faculty? Because we missed a question last week, which was posted during the live broadcast by Jerry Anderson, and so we'd like to get that question answered. Her question was, will Oplerno subscribe to Turn It In? I'm a teacher and I'm concerned not so much about plagiarism, but about students who writing their own papers.
We don't have any problem with a faculty member requiring students to subscribe to a particular service. Is Oplerno going to offer the service Turn It In to all of the faculty? Not sure, Jerry. I think what we're going to do is, like we try to do with most things here, is run it on an a la carte place. If you want to use the program, just be very upfront in terms of in your course that you're going to require students to use that. But we'll take a look, and if you can just shoot me an email with some times to talk about this online, or times to talk with me about it, then that would be great. But I think what the sort of the default piece is, we're going to leave that up to faculty members to subscribe to require their students to subscribe to different services, rather than just sort of buying a lot of extra services or programs for everybody. But that policy may change.
Or mileage may vary.
Yep.
Were there any more questions, Dan?
I don't know how many now.
Okay, let me see. Let me just go quickly. That was the question that we missed. If you have a question right now that you'd like answered, please shoot it to questions@oplerno.com or send it to our Twitter feed, which is at Oplerno on Twitter. Okay.
We do have one question actually that's come in via email. Question regarding registering for the next Oplerno training session for instructors, essentially Rob's course right now. We don't have a date set for that, but we're learning a lot in this first round. You know, you kind of went in with one expectation, and by starting out with this test group of faculty, we're learning what's effective, how long we need to engage, how long the course will be, etc. So if there is interest out there, definitely let us know. We'll start sort of not a wait list, but an interested people list, and sort of iteratively design the course for a 2.0 version after we conclude this session. We just have to figure out, the best way and when, and if we can get enough folks who are interested.
It's going to be a shorter class. It's going to be about, instead of 6 weeks, it's going to be 3 weeks. We're going to also segment it into 2 different sections to deal with issues that people have. What we're finding is that different individuals come in with a lot of different levels of experience in terms of working online. Some people haven't taught very many courses online or are used to lecture periods, and since our classes are a lot smaller, there's different kinds of pedagogical interactions that can occur there. And some people just want some technical help. They've used Blackboard, but they want to learn how to use Canvas, and it doesn't make sense to have people having to go through a 6-week course with that, handling all those particular different pieces. So what we're going to do is probably have segments and smaller sections that are a lot more focused that you can sign up for. So just give us about 2 weeks, and then we'll have an answer for you there. There's also some other really exciting things we're looking at in terms of the faculty support, and when they're ready to be announced, we'll do that. Again, there's an incredible amount of talent that the faculty have. There's a couple of different courses on instructional design that faculty are offering, and so we're coming up with different ways to engage them in a faculty support role.
It leads us into quite a nice segment because we're doing support, as the team is growing larger, that we also have more things that we're doing. So we actually need to not corporatize, but we need some kind of system internally that we can do to deal with support issues, to deal with issues that people are having. So one of my suggestions, especially since the folks at Pivotal Tracker gave us a nice academic license which we can use to start doing the support, handling a lot of the support issues that need to be handled, the things that are perhaps longer term or take a little bit of time within Pivotal Tracker, so we can actually all see and track everything that's going on there. This for us internally as well.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit more on the closed meeting, which will be fun. Let's go to let's talk a little bit about and plug our upcoming classes. We've got Dan. Do you want to do that?
I can. We haven't had any classes that have been to the point of completion to be ready for offering, but we have been able to give a lot of feedback in the last few weeks, and generally with a course approval situation, what happens is a faculty member builds it up with all their content and information and assignments and quizzes and sends it over to us. I go through it, and if there's any feedback that the faculty member needs to make edits wise, I do a screencast of my screen and walk them through maybe some of the places where it can be better organized, or more streamlined, or having the information arranged in the modules a little better so students kind of move through it more ordinarily. things like that. And you know, a few weeks later, I'll get it back again, and usually it's done. So it's usually a 2-round review process, very straightforward. And I've done the first round for a handful of classes over the last week or two. So we should be seeing some more courses popping up, ready to be taught in the coming weeks.
We have 2 upcoming classes, though, that you should also be aware of. One is Greg Sadler's Existentialist Philosophy and Literature class. This is the last day for the sign-up. So if you're at all interested in that that course, please go on to enroll.oplerno.com and check that out. And we also have a really interesting course, Introduction to Online Learning for Students. Dr. Grover is starting that next week. Sort of our thoughts right now in terms of what we're working on as an organization is also the issue of onboarding faculty and onboarding students, in terms of getting them to understand a little bit more about what the online learning environment is, and really getting a better sense of what things are from a if you want a customer standpoint. Okay, we at Oplerno are working for the faculty and the students, not the other way around. And so online learning can be really, really beneficial and really, really engaging and interesting, but a lot of people aren't used to it. And so figuring out ways to onboard to get the students involved in the classes, but also the faculty, is something that we're also going to be concentrating on over the next several months and, of course, years, because we want to make that as easy as possible.
Yep.
Okay.
And for people who watch stream, if you decide get Oplerno or enroll.com brings, and I'll send you to existentialism as well. So.
Yeah, Daniel, you seem to be breaking up in terms of the audio feed. So that was a little like Cylon Centurion talk from Battlestar Galactica. No problem.
Sorry.
No, not your issue. Let's go to the last thing on the public agenda, which is all accounts automatically have public profiles. So let's talk a little bit about that. Who brought that one up?
Yeah, this was an issue that Dan brought up, so I don't know if Dan would like to elaborate.
Sure. Anytime someone makes an account at enroll.oplerno.com on the marketplace, it populates a page essentially on the marketplace that folks can have a public profile if they want. It was mostly intended for faculty, of course, to load up their CV, anything that they wanted to be publicly available without, with giving the faculty member the control of what content is public on the web. But that also means when a potential student makes an account and puts their name, first name, last name in their settings, they've now indicated somewhat publicly that they are an Oplerno student. And I know we, from the very beginning, have stressed being sensitive to areas of the world where learning might be, having to be done in secret for safety reasons for some people. So I wanted to bring that up and see if there's a way for us to sort of not have public student profiles unless students really want them. Of course, you're free to do whatever you want, but automatically populating a page with their name on it under our domain could be a little...
Yeah. It's absolutely an issue. There's perhaps one of the, when you sign up as a student or sign up as a faculty member, of course, the only thing that we require from you is an email address. And so an email address means we have a placeholder. We create a placeholder page which is empty, and so you have an empty page which doesn't have any of your details on it, none of your contact details. That's for us internally to use. If an external person visits that page, it's blank. As soon as if people go into their settings, they have to explicitly go into the settings and fill in their details in the settings, and then it gets put on this blank page. So perhaps that we should put a warning at the top. We can either make it possible to just turn the page off, which I think is a good option, but also there's a warning on the top. There should be a warning at the top saying, if we don't require these details with us in the marketplace. So if you fill in the details here, they will become part of your record.
Yeah, I like that option. I like that option. It seems like a good opt-in, opt-out option of people deciding how much information they want public as opposed to how much information they want private. You know, both trying to keep in line with the transparency of Oplerno that we're trying to push as values, but then at the same time, you know, as Dan's brought up, protecting those in countries where, you know, open public education is not a value in those countries. So this would be a good way to have anonymity, but as well as we probably want to figure out a way to be able to verify and continue to keep verification of students we know are taking classes internally, so that we can know and verify that they've taken them and completed them.
Yeah, but within the marketplace, there is no requirement for any user data besides from an email address. So any of the names everything except for email address is opt-in.
That's good.
Yeah, Sujin, did you have something you wanted to chime in about this?
Yeah, I was thinking that, you know, having anonymous profiles or even, you know, private profiles is great, but maybe even, I don't know if Canvas supports this, but you could have, you know, a check mark saying, yes, I would like to make this information public. So that way, you know, maybe they could fill out the information if they wanted to, if they're the type of person who just likes filling these things out. But on the other hand, they would explicitly, you know, like we were talking about earlier, have to opt into making that information public.
Within Canvas, you don't have to fill in any details. So it's the same as with the marketplace. And there is no real public. You have a real public private profile within Canvas. You can only see it if you see the information of your fellow students, or you can see the information of your as a teacher or as an instructor. You can see the information of the students that they wish to share. But I don't think there's any real public profile. I mean, say that you can visit anonymously.
Right.
Yeah, the thing that we've got to remember is that we want our operations to be transparent as much as possible in terms of, you know, like that, hey, we want to do a student survey after a course. All of the things related to what we do internally as Oplerno need to be as transparent as possible. Individual data about what a person learns, where a person lives, all of that stuff needs to be private. Okay, so while we as an operation need to be as transparent as possible, institutionally we have to protect our faculty and our students and have them have their information be as private as possible. So, like Daniel said, it's always going to be an opt-in for us in terms of sharing. Okay, now of course you have to make sure that, you know, students are who they say they are. Okay, and we can do that internally. But there's too much opt-out in social media right now, and it's not very good. And especially with some of the places in the world with, you know, all kinds of different policies, including the U.S. Unfortunately, we've got to make sure that we protect individual user data. But institutionally, we're going to show everything we possibly can. So, all right.
Absolutely, and this is also why within the marketplace, at least, all the any user data that we get, anything that's such as your name or other things, these are all encrypted. We store these in a secure way, so that it's almost impossible. Can never say impossible, but it's always almost impossible to retrieve this data unless you're
yeah.
Unless you hack us all, or you get all our details.
Yeah. And you know. And why we don't, with the faculty applications, okay, when faculty start working with us, we do not say, hey, give us your social security number, give us your, you know, give us a copy of your driver's license ID. You know, no way. We don't want to know that. Okay, all right. So I think that's, anything else? Any questions come through? Let me just check. Nope.
Jerry Henderson is in the chat, and she said, "How will we know when the next course will start?" I don't think I completely understand what she means.
Is she talking about her class, or is she talking about the faculty support?
Jerry, do you mind if you're still watching? Could you the question? I think it could be the faculty support class.
Okay. Yeah, give us 2 weeks, and we'll be. Give us 2 weeks, and we'll have a date for you. It could be. There's probably going to be a lag of, let's say, 1 week or so between the 2 sessions, so that we can build and change. But yeah, there's not going to be much of a lag between the two. We are getting some interest out there. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're going to go to the closed meeting. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you online next week.
See you online.